Mobilising public opinion through a national inquiry involves very carefully assessing what strategy is going to be effective. And of course that's where the media are critical. The reason we got results in the Homeless Children's Inquiry or the Mental Illness Inquiry, or the reason the public became so informed about the stolen generation, the inquiry that Sir Ronald Wilson did, was through the media. And of course the media, they will cover the inquiry. They didn't charge us anything, it didn't cost us anything. So the resource implications of us educating the community about the human rights violations were taking place. I mean, millions and millions of dollars worth, and we actually did studies of this, millions of dollars worth of media coverage was obtained without the Commission paying $1. And so that's another one of the reasons the media is critically important, because resources are very scarce, and I think that'll remain the case.
We did hold public hearings, and they were very important in providing media coverage of what life was actually like for a blind person, waiting at a bus stop where 5 different routes went past and you were supposed to hail the bus if you wanted to get on it.
Actually, we have been integrating the educational process in our work. Well, I call it learning process, mostly in the non-formal, informal education. Although all through the process, we cooperate with the Ministry of Education, the school, the in-school part of education as well. But it works faster using the non-formal education process.
It's a kind of common experience, that nobody publishes their report and has all of the recommendations taken up without lobbying or without, getting civil society behind it or without going to the politicians or whatever.
Our experience is that the energy and organisation that you put in post the findings is probably almost as important as the work that goes into the inquiry. Well, we're in the middle of what I might call our plan of action. I think that this is a very important point, and in fact none of the stuff that we read about inquiries emphasised at all what you did afterwards. It was almost like they took a judicial approach that, you'd come up with your decisions or your findings and that was the end of the matter. Now you handed that over to someone else.
The inquiry process, the planning process, must incorporate follow-up. There must be a clear idea too about how to get the kinds of report, recommendations and product from the inquiry that will make follow-up possible. So to take a specific example, in Australia we had many inquiries which produced quite lengthy reports. When we came to do the inquiry into rural and remote education, we decided very early in the piece that we did not want a single large comprehensive report, that the kind of follow-up that we had in mind lent itself to having a number of smaller products rather than the standard inquiry report. So looking at follow-up and the kinds of follow-up that's possible can also have an influence backwards in shaping the process and the nature of the product of the inquiry. But the distinctive feature of a national human rights institution is that it is a standing body. That means that it stays around to follow up on its inquiry reports. It's not just a matter of delivering to the government and the parliament, delivering to the community the best reflections and the conclusions of the inquiry. The institution needs to become an advocate for the inquiry's recommendations. And if it just sits back, if it just allows the report to go into the public debate without the advocacy element, then there's no point in being a standing commission.
мэдээж хяналтын ажил хийгээд дутагдал зөрчлийг илрүүлээд тайлан гаргаад илтгэх гэдэг бол энэ бол асуудлын зөвхөн нэг тал нь юм аа. Хамгийн чухал хэсэг нь бол тэр гаргасан санал зөвлөмж, тавьсан асуудал хэрэгжих, биелэх одоо энэ бол хамгийн том хэсэг нь байгаа гэдгийг бол бид ойлгож байна. За мэдээж бидний гаргасан бүх зөвлөмж маш урт хугацаанд дотор биелэгдэнэ гэж бол итгэхгүй байна. Энэ гаргасан зөвлөмжийг биелүүлэхэд цаг хугацаа хэрэгтэй. Мөн одоо уйггүй ажиллагаа зайлшгүй байгаа нь ойлгомжтой. Энийг хэрэгжүүлэхийн төлөө цаашид Хүний эрхийн комисс тогтмол хяналт тавьж, байнга асууж, шалгаж, лавлаж ингэж ажиллах болно. Энэ зөвлөмж биеснэр энэ нээлттэй хяналтын ажлын энэ маань одоо бүрэн хэмжээгээр дуусах ёстой гэж ингэж ойлгож байгаа. Тэгэхээр энд бол маш их цаг хугацаа байгаа гэдгийг бид ойлгоно. Түүнээс гадна аль болох богино хугацаанд тэр дутагдал зөрчил засагдаасаа засагдах ёстой гэдэг үүднээс нь одоо байнга шалгах болно. Байнга бид энийг анхаарах болно. Комиссийн 2005-2011 оны эсрэгтэй төлөвлөгөөнд энэ эрүүл шүүлттэй холбоотой асуудлаар сургалт зохион байгуулах, сурчлагаа хийх, хамтарч хуулийн байгууллагатай хамтарч ажиллах одоо үйл ажиллагаанууд бас нэлээд хэмжээгээр тусгагдсан байгаа. Энэ тэр төлөвлөгөөнийхөө хүрээнд бид энийг байнга авч үзэх болно. Нэгэн төгсөө гарсан хуульчдад сургалт явуулахаас гадна шинээр яг одоо төгсгөл бэлэн болж байгаа тийм ээ. Хуулийн ихтэй сургуулийн оюутнууд, цагдаагийн энэ академийн оюутнуудад яг энэ сэдвээр сургалтуудыг бид тусгай програмын дагуу зохион байгуулж байгаа. Энэ маань бас чухал ажил хөдөлгөөнтэй байгаа юм. Яг тэгвэл шинэ боловсон хүчин, шинэ хүний эрхийн талаар шинэ одоо сайн ойлголттой гарах. Энэ эрүүл шүүлтийн холбоотой хууль тогтоомжийг сайн мэдж харах нь бол бас их ач холбогдолтой гэж ингэж үздэг. За бид цагдаагийн актын дээр одоо энэ бол манайд нэг ганцхан ийм актын байдаг. Цагдаагийн ажилтнуудыг бэлтгэдэг. Энэ актын дээр бид хүний эрхийн энэ сургалтын төвийг өгсөндөө бол одоо өгсөн явдал бол бас их чухал ажиглалтай гэж ингэж бодож байгаа.
At this stage, we're very much finding our way. We certainly organised a launch that got very good media coverage, and that's important. We've sought to and have met with relevant ministers to brief them, but also with opposition spokespeople on disability and transport issues. We've had a systematic program going back to the disability communities and regional government because they're key players in this, and meeting with and engaging with regional government over what they're going to do regardless of whether the government acts on the recommendations as a whole. I mean, it would be lovely to say that we're confident the government will pick up all of the recommendations and drive them from here on, but at this stage we're going to have to work with all the stakeholders to make sure that they pick up on all of them, and particularly the ones where they need to take a leadership role from here.